Welcome back for another video. So in today's video we'll be addressing this 500-gallon tank here that you can see behind me. I had it disconnected from the entire aquaponic system for some time just because of some things that I had to do on it to basically have it up and running. So in this video we'll be basically addressing those few things. So here's the inside of the tank, or this 500-gallon tank with the window that I have in my aquaponic system. You can see all the rust on the bolts. And then hopefully this window doesn't leak. It does have cracks here, so hopefully they're tight enough that water doesn't come out. If not, I will have to replace the window. Otherwise, I'm setting up the tank again. Originally I had this guy on here, which is a 3-inch drain, but it brings it quite high. It's kind of hard to record in here. So it brings it quite high up, as you can see there. So it allowed for a bunch of gunk actually to accumulate in the bottom. I couldn't find a low strainer that fits this one, so hopefully this thing works as soon as I get it out of my pocket. It's stainless steel. It's for a shower, so I was looking for a shower drain with male threads on it, 3-inch male threads, but I couldn't find one. This is the best I could find, and hopefully these are supposed to basically secure against the sides, I guess. So theoretically it kind of works, but it's not ideal. So this thing kind of sucks. Unfortunately, I wanted to set it up today, or at least get water in it. I guess I can come in here when there's water, but that's could be tougher to do things, so I'll look for something else and get it up and running. Otherwise, the other thing I'm going to put here is this guy right here, which is a diffuser. This way all the stuff at the bottom can get stirred up instead of just accumulating underneath here. Ideally I wanted something that was a little smaller, so basically 8 inches. This one is 9 inches in diameter, so if it was smaller it would fit perfectly here. Otherwise, I mean, one option is I can cut the stainless steel and bend it into the place I want it to, but I'll just leave it like this, which should hopefully work. And then this pipe will go up and out and then hooked up to the air pump that I will set up eventually. So because I couldn't find anything to thread into here, I have this plastic mesh that I zip tied on here, so we'll see how that works. If this way doesn't work, I will just zip tie or attach a piece of mesh to the bottom of this thing, and then when I drape it over like that, it should do the job as well. So we'll see. Otherwise, right now I'll fill it up with water and I'll be getting fish hopefully sooner than rather than later. Now that I fill up the tank, unfortunately it is leaking from the cracks on the window. So two options. I mean, I can just put silicone on these cracks, which could help for a bit, or I can just replace the window. So that's probably what I'm going to do. Is I'm going to have to drain the tank down and then put a new piece of plexiglass in here. Forget what this one is, polycarbonate sheet on here. So it's going to take a while because I got to take out all the bolts and everything and then re-put it on there. So that's going to be a pain, but hopefully the new one doesn't crack. And then it can last a lot longer. Previously, all of this was just from condensation, or it's possible it was from here. You know, now that I think about it, I thought it was condensation in the past, but it's probably just from this crack. So I mean, you can kind of see if you can kind of make it out. You can see the water moving right there. So the water's coming from somewhere. The best course of action is just to replace it and then put the actual stainless steel bolts in here. Because when they first sent me the window, they sent the wrong bolts and washers and everything. They had a bad batch that weren't stainless steel. So I do have, which is not going to be harmful to the fish. It's just rust. It's not going to do anything towards the fish itself. But now that it's leaking and I can't just get away with filling it up, since I didn't want to replace it since I'm lazy at the moment, I'll just replace it and then be squared away with the bolts, and hopefully that polycarbonate sheet is all set. So I was thinking I could actually reuse this if it didn't have these cracks on here, but you can see actually how bad the washers have rusted. Like, look at that. They are completely wasted, just all the way around, which is insane. And then the biggest reason is it got these big cracks just everywhere. So I'm hoping the other one doesn't do the same thing. See, look at that. It's insane. But oh, look at this washer. That washer's like gone, completely gone. Oh, this one too. That's insane. So here's the old polycarbonate sheet that was just taken off. You can see all the cracks in it. It's a lot more than I thought there was. So there was probably definitely no way that it was gonna hold water how it was. I mean, it would have worked. It would just be a slow leak, which is no problem. But you can just see all these massive cracks, like literally almost everywhere. And then all along the side, all along here, it's all cracked. Up here as well, it's insane. So I mean, the problem is my tank might be a little, what do you call it, too narrow. It's not, the curve is, it curves too much since the tank is not big enough, which could be causing the issue. So hopefully the new window doesn't have any problems when I have it on there. But you can see a lot of this stuff was also left on the plastic of the tank itself, so I had to scrape that all off, which I didn't record, but I mean, you can see just how bad that window was, or that it became. You can see all the rust from all the bolts. Well, not the bolts. The bolts actually were fine. It's just these washers, inside washers, that completely rusted away. Some of them were like completely gone, but you can just see the coloration on them, just how bad they were. But like the nuts on the outside, they're all good. The washers on the outside, they're pretty much good except for the rust that went through. But then all the washers on the inside are bad. The bolts might be stainless steel, which is possible. I mean, they don't have really rust on them besides what is from the washers. But you just see that's the washer right there, and then this is that rubber seal that was on it, which is for the waterproofing. The other thing came off, so I put a piece of that mesh on the bottom aerator I have in here, so this should hopefully work better. So that guy's basically attached on there like so, just with some zip ties, and just to prevent the fish from getting in that drainage hole. So we'll see how that works. I tried to allow the new sheet to kind of pre-bend, which it's kind of like that just with this on. When I take this off, kind of just goes back into place. There is a little bent in there, but not much. The idea behind that was that it can, after I pre-bend it, there's less chance of it cracking like the last one did. So we'll see. So we almost got the window in here. However, these ones that are open, all the holes are off, so I'm gonna have to drill through and make it bigger, and probably I'm gonna use silicone just to be safe on those holes. It's almost in there. That was quite tough. Wetting up a storm. I don't know if you can make it out, but I'm drenched. Pretty much have this tank completely set up. I might replace the hosing attached to that aerator at the bottom just because it does kink. It's not like that hosing I have down there. However, that's 5/8 and this is 1/2 inch, so I might just have to buy some more, or I can use an adapter, but I'll probably buy some more. Otherwise, the window is pretty much in place. We'll fill it up and see if it leaks anywhere and then tighten it down. It looks nice and clean. I didn't make it as tight just because I didn't want any cracking on the window, so we'll see how that goes. And then some of the bolts I had to drill the hole a little bigger just because it didn't line up. Otherwise it's looking nice. It takes quite some time. I think it took us like 1.5 hours, 2 hours to put this window in, so a good amount of time. So far so good. There's no really leaks except for one spot right here, which is not much, so I just gotta tighten that down and it'll be good. I thought I would have to tighten a lot more of them down. Oh wait, no, there's some more that's starting to leak. Just noticed. So I gotta tighten all those down. The tank is all set up and squared away now. It's hooked up to the system. It's up and running. There's fish in there. There are no leaks on the tank itself. It has become actually quite green. So this is cleared up a little. I'll explain why in a sec, but it was super green that I couldn't even see squat in here. Even on the inside of the tank, like you couldn't see anything at all. You can see the koi down there. But like 2 days ago, I took the Plecostomus out of this tank and stuck it in here, and he's eaten quite a bit and has cleared it up. So I'll put an update on that later on. It should hopefully clear up the window that I can see more, but you can see the fish down there. I could barely even see them like 2 days ago. Otherwise, I mean, everything's up and running. There are no leaks. All the bolts are good. I mean, I even tried scrubbing the window with a nice sponge, but I mean, you still couldn't see anything just because of the reflection of the inside of the tank. I mean, I have this insulation on there to keep it warm, but also to kind of protect it from the sun, which hasn't done squat in that sense. This is to prevent algae from growing on the front, but no luck with that. So that Pleco should clear it up. Otherwise, that's all up and running. So basically the things that I had to do on this tank was put this new window on here. I had to replace a valve here at the bottom. So there was a massive 3-inch valve here that was just sticking out in the middle of the way. Quick size comparison. This valve is huge. It's massive compared to that. And it literally stuck out like this far, so it was kind of in the way. I took that off, which actually took some time to cut the pipe over there, and then I just put this on there. Now I have a 2-inch valve, which I can just put a flex pipe going from here to here and then drain it out. This will allow me to clean out stuff that does accumulate in this pipe, because over time solids is going to settle down and then it will get in here, and this will allow me just to drain it out a little easier. And that's also that purpose of, on the inside I have that aerator at the bottom, which is the other thing that I set up on this tank. I doubt you can make it out from here. Yeah, you can't make it out, but at the bottom there's an aerator with a screen mesh on there, and that will allow all the solids to kind of stir around and then go out the pipes and then into the filtration. So it comes out on two sides, one on this side and then on that side. So the air pump's not hooked up because I don't have a air pump hooked up for the whole system, but once in a while I do take this tubing, which is the tube that's hooked up to the air stone at the bottom, and hook it up to this air pump, which is for this moving bed biofilter, and then just to circulate in these two tanks over here. So otherwise, I mean, it's all set up, it's all running, everything's good, there's no issues. There's no leaking on there, which is good because I didn't glue anything down there. I just shoved it on there just in case I had to do something else. So it's a good thing there's no leaks on there, and then I'm happy this is not leaking. So the only concern is that this thing, it cracks eventually, but hope for the best that that doesn't happen. I mean, the main issue why I would say it would crack is due to the factor that my tank is, how do we explain it? My tank's diameter is not big enough, so it's got too much of a curve, which causes more stress on the polycarbonate sheet. Because this is only I forget how many, 4-foot diameter tank or whatever it is. Yeah, 4-foot diameter. So it does give more of a curve on the window itself. So hopefully this one is better. We didn't tighten these ones as tight until I got water on there. Then I tightened them down just because I didn't want to over tighten it, cause any cracking on there. But otherwise, everything's up and running. It's all good. There's fish in there, and we got the water flowing into the aquaponics system. Well, that pretty much sums up this video. The tank is up and running. There's fish in there, so it's all hooked up to the system. If you do have any questions or comments, remember to leave those below, and I'll get to this when I can. Otherwise, thank you for watching.